Welcome to episode 465 of the Recruitment Marketing and Sales Podcast. And I'm your host, Denise Oyston. And today we're talking about likes, shares, comments, and is that really what social media is all about? The real truth is, it is not. And I'm going to explain why in this week's podcast. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Recruitment Marketing and Sales Podcast. An obsessive focus on marketing and sales is the only way to accelerate your company growth. So listen in now as we share the latest strategies and techniques guaranteed to deliver you more placements and profits. Well, hi there, everyone. Hope you and yours are well. This is Denise with another podcast. And this podcast is all about putting your ego to one side and looking at the facts and how social media can actually help you. I'm going to jump into that in a second, really help you understand how social media is so pivotal to your whole marketing process. And it's not about the likes and shares and engagement. But before I do that, we have a new website. It's almost there. Well, it is up. It's just there's a couple of things that just need a little bit of a polish. However, a while back, I mentioned that we were totally updating our marketing checklist, and it was going to be interactive and it was going to be personalized, and all that is now available. And you'll find it on the website. It's on the homepage. You click a button and a page will open. You put your name and email address in, and then you can actually go through the process. But just a shout out for those of you who are focused on marketing, you want to know what you need to do, I strongly encourage you to fill out this assessment. Now, we've taken this to another level. As many of you know, we've been working with recruiters for coming up to 18 years this year, helping them with the marketing. We have got a lot of data about what works and what doesn't work, what certain recruiters do and what works for them and what others don't do and why it doesn't work for them. And so what we've done is we've collated all this into an assessment tool, and it literally will take you less than 3 minutes to complete, and it'll give you a good grounding and understanding of the key elements where your focus needs to be in the current market. There's 5 key areas that we cover. There are 15 questions. I'm not going to ask you to go away and get loads and loads of data. All of this will be in your head around the questions that we ask. Go into the tool and you can find it. You can find it all over our website, but you can also find it if you go to superfastrecruitment.co.uk/CCS, because what this is it's your client and candidate attraction score, because at the end of the day, that's what you want marketing to do. And what will happen is you complete the questions, and then we will send you your own personalized PDF report, because we'll know where you score in the high, medium, low, and we'll be able to give you some ideas on your next steps. And of course, once you've done this scorecard, then you can always jump on a call with either Sharon or I, and we can talk you through it and we can give you some more detail. So very excited about that, and encourage all of you to go and fill it out. Even if you feel you are a long way on your journey, then you might see some key areas where potentially you could improve even more. So let's start talking about this likes, shares, comments things that go on for a lot of people. Now, as human beings, we're pretty insecure. Many of us are insecure, and we like to feel needed. We like to feel wanted. We like to feel seen. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, that drives their behavior on social media, because they're always looking for, has anyone liked my post? Has anyone commented on it? Is that going to make them contact me and get it and get an engagement going? And I totally understand that. And I understand that, yes, it would be fabulous if people engaged with our posts, and it would be wonderful if they liked and shared it. However, they don't always do that. And that is not the goal of social media. The goal of social media is a bit different. And I'm going to come on to that for you, because I think there's one very important thing to remember when it comes to social media for recruiters, is that often you will find the people that comment, the people that like and share, and let's just use that very catch-all term, engage with your content, whether that's a blog post or an image that you share on social media, are people that know you very well, some of whom might be other recruiters. I'm going to say family members because I know that does happen, but it might be friends, people that want to support you. It's not always your clients. And that is something that people forget. And remember, it's quite unique as well, isn't it? You know, the recruitment sector, you post social media, and candidates, if they are looking for a new role, are not going to click or like or comment unless they're out of a job on your social media post, because they don't want their current employer to know about it. Conversely, you've got clients who don't want other recruiters to know that they are working with a particular recruiter, or maybe in the market to hire some new people, because they don't want to get a flood of recruiters contacting them saying, oh, I noticed that you're recruiting. Can I help you? So please always remember that when it comes to the level of engagement you have. You know, one of my nephews is into Mr. Beast. If you don't know Mr. Beast, he's this YouTube phenomenon that has billions and billions of views, does really weird and wacky things on YouTube and gets masses of engagement. Now, he is not working in a B2B environment. He's working in a very different environment where he gets paid advertising spend and everything, the number of views that he gets. We don't work in that environment. We work in a B2B environment. It's very, very different. And why we use content and social media is to get a different reaction from that. And of course, it's amazing when people make a comment, they like something that we've posted, because we feel validated, we feel seen, but it's not the primary indicator of success. There is something like, I think we're approaching now 900 million people on LinkedIn. And yet, fascinating, of all those people, there's less than 4% actually post on LinkedIn regularly, because LinkedIn is full of lurkers. Yes, it is. It is full of people that are consuming content. And these people are reading your posts. They're seeing your imagery. And it's these people that we want to interact with in a different way, because these are the people that we want to use our services. It's these individuals who are reading our posts, watching our videos. They're not commenting, they're not liking. And there's sometimes, for instance, I won't share all the data from our clients, but I know, for instance, we might post something and let's just say it's a testimonial, or maybe it's a video, and we might get something like, I don't know, we can get sometimes 300-400 impressions. And out of those impressions, there will be a lot of people who have actually watched that video. It's interesting because last week, Sharon was at the MPA conference over in the US, and she presented in front of an audience of, I think, just over 100 people. And yet she was also presenting every day on LinkedIn when you consider the videos that we share, the information that we give. And we go to the MPA because it's a positioning tool for us, because then we can be in front of our market. And that is what our goal is when it comes to posting on social media. Here's a quick interesting story about one of our clients. She's called Rachel, and great student, just did all the things that we suggested that she did. started posting on social media. She even got a daughter to help her with some of the imagery and the branding. And then she said to us, I always love this when people say out of the blue. And she'd been doing all the work. That's why it came out of the blue. An old connection of hers got in contact with her and said, look, I've got a CTO role. Do you think you can help me with it? And obviously, Rachel said, yes, of course she could. And as they're having this conversation, then this individual, Rachel said, oh, well, why did you get in contact? She said, well, I'm seeing all your content all over LinkedIn. She said, it's pretty good, by the way. And I just thought, oh, you just reminded me that we used to work together. And I thought, well, you could help me. So that is the goal, at least one of the goals of posting on social media. I just wanted to take a moment to connect with all of you amazing listeners. As you know, our podcast isn't sponsored and we pour our hearts into bringing you quality content for every single episode. Now, if you've been enjoying the show, I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. You can find me at linkedin.com/Denise Oyston. That's Oyston. Just click that link. Let's connect. And also a quick reminder that sharing our podcast or giving us a shout out on social goes a long way to helping grow our community and getting the message out there to all of the small recruitment companies and staffing companies and search companies that want to do well. Your support does mean the world to us and it helps us to continue doing what we love. So thanks for being part of the journey. Now let's get back to that show. So when it comes to the real goals of posting on social media, first one is brand awareness. People can't buy you if they don't know who you are. And what this does is by posting on social media consistently and regularly, your recruitment company starts to become more visible in a crowded marketplace. Because trust me, a lot of recruiters are not posting, or they're posting once a week or once a month, or just when they have jobs. That's all they're doing. So they are not building brand awareness, which is pivotal in an uncertain market. Now, the next thing is expert positioning. And I'm saying this because the majority of the recruiters that we work with, in fact, all of the recruiters we work with, are experts in their field. They've been around. And for them, it's about demonstrating their knowledge, their authority, and their expertise in the sector, which is what you want to be doing with your social media, so that when people come across you, they may not like, they may not comment, but they are seeing what you're doing and they're getting an impression of you. And of course, social media is about education. And when I say education, remember that people are not always aware of their specific problem related to your solution and how you can help. And as you are posting on social media, there are multiple ways that you can do that, through case studies, through all the content you share, through stories. It makes a huge difference. Now, this is amazing. And relationship building. When you are posting on social media, you start to build relationships with people in a different way. Don't underestimate the impact of your social network of friends that you have. And I use that term loosely as friends because we always think of our clients as friends because we're wanting to help them. But think about that, from a relationship building point of view, you are staying top of mind with your past clients and candidates. The other thing is trust building, because if you don't see somebody for a while, or, you might have had this experience where you've seen an advert on social media, or you've seen an advert on the telly, and then you don't see them again. And you trust things, you go online and you Google them and you can't find anything about them. Or you can't even find a telephone number for them. They haven't even got a proper website. You become a little bit more cynical about them. And remember that if you were posting constantly on social media, remember the principles, the Cialdini's principles of influence, then you are being consistent and people are seeing you. automatically it elevates you as somebody that's reliable, somebody they could work with. Now, there's something else that I think I mentioned a few weeks ago called the familiarity effect. Now, the familiarity effect is about the fact that people become familiar with you, even if they've never directly interacted. The number of people that when we get on a telephone call with them or they see us at an event. So Sharon had this experience so much last week when she was at the MPA. All these people coming up and talking to her because they'd seen her content consistently being posted on LinkedIn. They'd been receiving our emails and they'd become familiar with us. We were around. It's like, we're all familiar with, there's a company in the UK called Screwfix. I don't use it a lot. I'm not the most DIY type of person, but it's there. I'm very familiar with it. I know where it is in Carlisle. I see their adverts everywhere. I am familiar with their branding and what they do. And this is the way that social media can work for you as well, because people become familiar with you. And what happens is often people will work with somebody they are familiar with, no matter how that has happened. So think about, how can I become more familiar with my audience? And this leads on to the buyer cycle. Now, I've mentioned the buyer cycle several times before, and this is really important about getting in front of those people that are ready to buy now, but those people that are ready to buy in the future. So classically, again, this is all based on a lot of data and research, originally by Chet Holmes, that at any one time, 3 to 7% of the public that you would be selling to are ready to purchase immediately, right? So that's great. The challenge is most people just go for that 3 to 7% and they forget about the other people that they need to be in front of. Now, at any point in time, 15 to 20% are actively researching options. They're actively looking. They're going to be looking for, if they need a recruiter or they're looking for a role, they're going to be scrolling and looking. They are probably not going to interact with your content, like and share it, but they're going to read it. So that's at least 15 to 20% of people you could be missing out on if you stop posting because you think you're not getting any engagement. There are also up to 40% of people who are totally aware that they have a problem and something will go past them on, LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever, Instagram. They'll know they have a problem, but they're not actively looking just yet. But they might be looking in the future. And then you have that other part, which can be anywhere between 40 and 50% of people they've not even entered that space of knowing that they have a problem that you can solve. They don't know much about you, but they're not really aware of how that problem is impacting them. So this is where being present and visible on social media, you can probably see there, it doesn't take a genius to work out, there's 50% of the population there that I'm probably missing out on who are not going to engage with my content immediately, but they might be reading it and looking at it. And all that time, I'm positioning myself as the person to work with. Another one of our clients told us a great story about this, Steve over in Sydney. I love saying Steve in Sydney. I think it must be because I'm a copywriter. And Steve was talking about that when he first started working with us, he'd got a fair level of connections. It's really blown off the charts now since we've been working together and all the work that Steve's been putting in. But he started to post again on LinkedIn. He hadn't been doing it for a while. And straight away, he was then in front of his market again. Some of his market had forgotten about him. They didn't know, is Steve still working in this sector? I could do with working with him again. And they were seeing his content. And again, that was bringing him up in their mind because they were at a different point in the buyer cycle where they really needed to get in contact with Steve again. Now, just some practical tips for, effective social media marketing. If you have not watched the video on our website from a few weeks ago that we shared, it's also on our YouTube channel. So go to superfastrecruitment.co.uk and have a look on the blog there under the resources section. You'll see it there. But also just go to our YouTube channel. And when you're on YouTube, just, search Superfast Recruitment. It'll come up. You'll see it there. It's about 50 minutes long. So it's a longer session, but well worth watching. And in there, we cover several things. But here's just a quick summary for you is remember, this is not about being perfect. This is about consistency rather than perfection. Think about mixing your educational content with your personal branding posts, because people want to work with people that they know, like, and trust. Personal branding makes a huge difference when it comes to that. And remember, people work with you because they have a problem. And so focus on solving and communicating that you know about your clients' and candidates' problems and how you might be able to solve them. Because remember, the 4 reasons people choose to work with you, you're solving a pain that they've got, you're saving them time, you're making life easier, and also you're making them feel good. You're making them feel, hey, I've got a great recruitment process in place, or, people want to join our company. We've got this whole thing nailed. We use a professional recruiter who understands the market. It makes us stand out. As a candidate, I'm working with a recruitment company. They're actually helping me find the right job. In fact, they're representing me, and it's not costing me anything. They're representing me, and they're going out to different companies that I've always wanted to work with, and they're doing all the hard work for me. So think about all of those things that are important to people. An idea, really, really strong tip is to use short form video. And short form video is basically shorter videos. They're much easier. Top tip, they are much easier to record and do. You'll see the ones that we do on LinkedIn. If we're not connected on LinkedIn, then, find me, Denise Oyston, or Sharon Nui, and connect with us, and then you'll start to see all the different styles, and you'll recognize all the things that I've mentioned to you. You'll see all the different styles of content that we can use. You could even steal some of the ideas that we use for your own brand. And so do some video, do some short videos. Videos are very compelling. The way that the algorithm works, which is always changing on LinkedIn, then it does prioritize. It seems to be prioritizing video at the moment. So make sure that you do that. And metrics are important. I've been a data girl. I'm a scientist. I've always been a data freak. However, remember that this is part of the longer game. This is, I mentioned Steve before. We've been working with Steve now for, it'll be coming up to 5-6 years. It's really made it, his marketing is at a totally different level to what it was when we first started working with him. And he has managed over time to grow and grow and grow because he's been putting the work in. And, marketing will provide quick results, but it's also about the long game, about being there to really support and help people. So we've talked quite a bit today all around the fact that it's not just about the like and the share and the comment. Remember that it's, engagement is a myth. You want people to see your content. They don't necessarily have to engage with it to do what you want it to do. The real goals of social media is your brand awareness, education, relationship building. It's all about positioning you. And remember the bias cycle, that there are a small percentage ready to act now, but there are a lot of other people on social media that you want to be in front of that have a problem, that are not quite there yet to want to work with a recruiter. And again, remember, it's more about consistency rather than perfection. Mix up the content that you use and think about, I am a solution provider. How can I provide solutions for my clients? So this is Denise saying bye for now, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoy this podcast and this year you are ready to take your marketing to the next level, then check out Superfast Circle. This is a unique marketing program designed specifically for recruiters and their marketeers. You get access to 2 virtual marketing directors, you get consultancy, you get your hand held through the whole process, training, consulting, and we provide content resources. So go over to superfastrecruitment.co.uk/join and check out what's available.